G'day guys. Well, about to start a studio build. So it's my first serious build. I thought I'd show you around the room before we do any works. Okay, so I've got about 60 square metres here. At the moment I've got a pressed tin up on the roof. This is the entrance to the room here from the stairwell upstairs. Obviously this glass door is probably going to have to go. We've got another window up the top there which may need some addressing. So at the moment I'm just trying to decide what to do with the layout. So I know some basic stuff. I know that this pressed metal is going to have to come down, and we're probably going to have to put a silent ceiling in. So some silent clips, get rid of that hat channel up there. 2 sheets of plaster, or drywall as you guys call it in America. So the research I've done on the website for the plaster company actually tells me that I'm going to get a better, there we go, it's better, a better STC rating with 1 layer of 13mm sound check and 1 layer of 16mm fire check than I will with 2 layers of 16mm fire check. So that's a possibility there for the roof. With the walls, I've had a little bit of damp. You can probably see here. We've done a bit of hatching up here, so just had some spots with some penetrating damp coming through because where we are here is below ground. So this level here, where the concrete foundation starts, is below ground, and the brickwork above is what's above ground. So obviously got a bit of water on the back of this wall, which I can't actually get to because I've got a deck around there, bitumen right around the house. So in normal situation, I'd get the excavator in, dig it out, and treat it from the outside properly. But here, the only option I've had is to grind out any cracks in the wall and fill them up with a cementitious mixture, which is what this one is as well. For some reason it's just stayed a bit darker, so this cementitious mixture you put in there actually has a chemical reaction with water, so that's why the lighter one has actually set and it's now a lighter colour. I've done the same thing with some of the cracks in the floors, but they weren't huge cracks, only a couple of mil. But just to be safe, we'll grind them out, put that in there. And then what's going to happen is, well, the plan is to use this, it's another cementitious membrane that'll get painted on the whole wall and the ceiling, and then possibly up onto the brickwork as well. So there's some small gaps in the brickwork, in the mortar joints, just some little stuff. We've got the expansion gaps there as well. So that stuff there, I'll get back on camera, either going to have to just seal up with mortar and then run the membrane up over it, or the other option I'm looking at is to use excuse me, a fire rated cement and basically render a layer on the wall, and then once again could come straight up with the membrane. The other option would be just to fill in the gaps in the mortar and then use a clear sealant, and you can still see the bricks, because what I would have loved to have done would be frame this whole thing out and do a fabric wall system. But because I've got these issues here with the damp, I think the smartest thing to do is to leave it exposed for the moment, which means the brickwork could be retained as a feature. So yeah, in two minds about that, but yeah, either way it should be good. So I'll flip this camera around again. My initial thought is this would be control room. So you build a wall right across there from left to right. and then, or double wall I should say, and then this would be left as a decent sized tracking area. So the ceiling height's 2.48 to the bottom of the pressed metal, so it's not huge. I think it's 9 foot, so ideally it'd be 12, 13, 14, but I've got to work with what I've got. So yeah, so that's option 1 control room here. So if I go on to some of the room calculators with the 2.4 ceiling, it sort of comes up with something around 4 by 5.5, which means I possibly end up having to shorten the length of this to get the room modes. Ventilation's going to be another challenge in here. Being a basement, it's quite cool, so going to have to seal it up, get some fresh air in. Probably going to need a dehumidifier in here as well, because right now it's sitting around 75% relative humidity. There's also under the stairs as well, so this could be built out as an ISO booth or just for a couple of guitar cabs, but obviously all that sound's going to bleed up into the stairwell. So the other thing is that's a perfect space to fill with stands, because I'm going to have plenty of stands down here. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at now. Location of the desk be another thing I need to take into consideration. So if it's an open room plan, I'll probably put the desk up this end and the monitors up this end, and should be able to get enough isolation with some gobos and things to track and still hear the speakers, but obviously it's not ideal. The other option would have been to put the desk this way and then turn your head to the right to see out the window, but again, it's not really a practical option with the doorway being there. If you're wondering what this is the sump for the aggregated conduit that runs around the outside of the building. So that runs around at foundation level and is meant to let all the groundwater drain in below the foundation, so I don't get any issues like I've got here. And it does work, but obviously it's still a bit more groundwater down there, so that's another thing that I'm going to have to seal up if I want to keep the humidity down. Make some sort of lid with a good seal on it. A couple more holes up there that would need to be addressed. And then we've got the boundary wall for the stairwell here. So at the moment, this is just standard construction, just single 13mm sheets of plaster or drywall. So this side I've got the I-beam there, which has got some serious mass to it. So coming up on the underneath of this I-beam, if we were to put a silent wall here and mechanically disconnect it from this wall, that's probably not a bad option for this surface. But then once you get around this side, the framework's connected directly to the floor joists and everything. So, I'm sort of in two minds about whether it's worth the effort to treat the other side to that extent when this side's still mechanically connected. So obviously I could put additional sheets on the inside, and if we look in the stairwell here, pop the light on. The way these treads are, you can quite easily put another sheet of plaster straight on there and on the other side if I wanted to. You can see there's a bit of a recess up the top. That's basically at ceiling level. That's above that I-beam. So an extra sheet on here probably would go a long way. Left hand side, another story. Anyway, be safe, look after yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.